Sam, you've spoken very interestingly about partnerships in a bunch of our previous episodes, and I'll paraphrase Sam. I can't be as stylish as you, but I'll try to paraphrase, which is that when there was ZERP, there was abundance of capital, and everybody's thinking was a lot broader. If I was envisioning my business, it was solving way more problems, and it was doing many things. And one of the interesting things that happened is as interest rates went down, the constraints forced the narrowing of the aperture, where you're like, this is my core business that I'm going to focus on. And it created the opportunity for you to partner with people that in the past might have been competitive or future competitors, right? And you've really enjoyed these collaborations. Is there a fear in your, and this has been the experience for so many of us, right? Do you think there's a fear in the market, or we should be afraid of the fact that as interest rates come down and capital becomes more available, that our apertures will widen and the opportunity for these really interesting collaborations will reduce? Or have we all learned some lessons and we'll maintain them? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts, I think there's impetus for partnering with similar sized companies or companies. The tricky thing, I was just on a webinar talking about, because we were talking exactly about the topic that you and Bob were talking about, which is how outreach effectively, took a mid or early career professional, armed them with the most powerful communication tool in human existence, and then, completely destroyed outbound sales in the course of their evolution. But the point that we were making is that, outreach and Gong used to be partners, and now they can't be partners because their roadmaps all lead to the same place, and they're in this sort of middle ground of consolidation where Outreach, Gong, and Clary have all decided that they're going to be the all-in-one kind of revenue intelligence and enablement solution besides Salesforce that sits next to the CRM.
I'll throw ZoomInfo in that list.
Yeah, ZoomInfo. Exactly right. Exactly right. And you never know if 6sense gets big enough that they decide that they need call recording technology, and eventually, like, all of these roadmaps lead to the same place, which is a topic, a comment that I've made really about what you think of the relative market cap of some of these companies relative to Salesforce, because at some point the implication of all these valuations is that they will replace Salesforce, because you can't have, well, I don't think you probably can't have like 5 $20 billion companies totaling $100 billion in market cap unless you think that the market is 10 times bigger than that or whatever. But that's not the point that you're asking. Also, the point you're asking is, well, how can you confidently compete a partner if you're worried that these companies are going to compete? And that's why I think, like, two different point solutions probably have a really good opportunity to partner together, as long as you have confidence that you're not going to compete. And that's where you have to have a really open and honest conversation with the partners on occasion. It just depends how closely adjacent your roadmaps are and your overall company progression is. And, for us, we're not a technology company, so the companies that we partner with are consulting and services companies. But I literally had this exact same conversation with Sangram at GTM Partners this week, because he does conferences, I do conferences, he does some level of community, I do some level of community, but we want to work more closely together. So he said, here's the things I'm going to do. I said, here's the things that I'm going to do. These are the areas where we're not going to compete, and these are the areas where maybe we can find some collaboration or synergy. And I think that kind of conversation is possible. It's also possible on the other end of the spectrum, right? It's also possible with HubSpot and QuotaPath, right? Because HubSpot is so much larger than QuotaPath at this point that AJ's not worried that, like, his roadmap will end up becoming, a CRM and marketing automation platform.